Let's all say hello. Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. I think most of you are on the computers. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, most are on the computer.
Most people are on the computer, so we can't hear you. You say hello to your computer.
You are now unmuted.
But we can't hear you. But what we're going to do, just real low-key, is just give an overview and share some insights about WeShare crowdfunding. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Tom Moore, and I live in Southern California. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I mean, full-time plus. Have been for 20 years now, really my whole life. But anyways, like the rest of you, we've seen it all, and there are many different things out there. We're inundated with different opportunities, and it's very easy to get spread thin and become worthless in the marketplace relative to the value that you bring to the marketplace when you get spread too thin. So that's something that I've really had to be careful about as of late, because we're all looking for things that work. And with my friend Mike Hanley, who's on the line here, he'll speak in a minute, but he brought this to my attention a couple months ago, and I didn't know Mike that well, but we knew of each other, and I knew he was a nice man with a nice smile, and always was very upbeat. So he said, all right, well, let's, Mike, just because I like his energy is what it boils down to. I said, okay, let's, you'll get my attention for a little bit here. I'll give you a couple minutes of mentally, and we'll see if you've got something that resonates with me. And if that's the case, then we'll, see what we can do here. So took the time to look at this, and then took the time to meet with him, but really didn't understand this. All I knew was that, here's a guy I respect. I consider to be a good businessman. He's seen success. He's been around the block, and most importantly, he's got integrity. Said, okay, he sees something here. He's excited about it. What it is, I'm not getting it, but being the fact that he's excited, I don't think he's a fool. I'll just kind of hang around here and, as they modify the model or kind of buff it out, my words, we'll see where it is, and I'll keep the lines of communication open with him. And that's what I did. And that was the same thing for Fred, who's on the line right now, Fred Henderson. He and I both said, well, maybe there's something here, but we're, get it buffed out, and we'll look at it again. Well, they've got it buffed out is what it boils down to. So now it's called WeShare crowdfunding. It used to be called Gold crowdfunding. Now it's called WeShare crowdfunding. And there's a man that came to the table. His name is Roger. He's out of Irvine, California, retired military electric engineer, and been around the block in the home-based arena. Really been around the block and has seen success. And he's just a modest guy who's very, very smart. And that's what I ascertained when I went to a couple meetings in Laguna Beach, breakfast meetings that we have every Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. And I sat through two of them. And I was like, okay, this guy seems to be the right guy here to really get WeShare, this crowdfunding component or concept, get this buffed out. There's that word once again, or my term. Get this thing, aligned properly so that it makes sense. And I really think we've got something here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be spending my time, and you wouldn't be wasting your time on a Friday night listening in. So I do think we've got something that has merit here. A couple things that are most important to me. Number one, no one's going to get hurt here. No one is going to get hurt. It's a donation that a person's making, if inclined on their part, little tiny amounts of money on these donations. It's super clean situation. And, this has integrity. I mean, it's a very sound model. And it's also a model that can be, allow a person to live their dreams truly, whatever that dream may be. And you have to have a dream. That's what it boils down to. You have to have hope. What business? We're in the business of giving people hope. That's really what it boils down to. And I'm telling you right now, I have been down in the lip mentally from a blow that I took on a deal that didn't work out this year with the conveyances and reliances. This is going to be grand. And it was just a bunch of, it just didn't work is what it boiled. We've all been there. You get a chunk of your flesh taken out, and you're like, oh man, that hurts. And I got this. I like this. I like what's been put together here with WeShare. So let's go over that. Mike, what I'd like you to do though is, here's a guy who saw this early on and put forth the effort necessary to make things happen, and he's created something here. Just share your story, Mike. Share your perspective in about 2 minutes or less if you could. Because really, between Roger and Mike, when I saw what was happening with Mike, the donations that he was receiving, and the team that he built here of benevolent people, I mean, my jaw dropped. I was like, I can't believe, wow, incredible. Congratulations on what you've done. So share your perspective if you could, Mike, just for 2 minutes or less.
Sure, Tom, thanks. And good evening, everybody. I live in Southern California, and I've watched Tom and believe in Tom and his integrity and his heart most of all. So knowing that we are all hitting kind of walls in what we're doing these days and looking for something, I got involved in this through a friend who had looked at this and felt that this was a program that needed some buffing out, as Tom said, but it was really good. So I got in really kind of early, about 3.5 months ago, and in 3 days I put my project out, and in 3 days I'd received $3,000 of donation. I could not believe that. That excited me more than anything because it proved the model worked at least one way. Then it was time to turn it around and pay it forward, which is what this is. So people donate to your cause, and that's really exciting for you. But what about for them? Because everybody has a cause. Everybody has a need. And so regardless of who they are, what level of income they have, there are always things that are missing in their life because they can't fulfill their dream. And so I started with that in helping people, and over a period of time, 2 people led me to about 400 people who started their own projects, put in a little bit of money to get started, and started helping other people. Well, this has hit over 1,000 people. We're turning this company's program on this weekend, and I think it's going to go viral worldwide. A thing to remember is that 98% of the people in the world don't have access to a bank, but they do have access to a cell phone. That's the crazy part. And they can conduct business. Well, we have a method where it can be done through a cell phone, through them, without a bank, their own little holding account, and then a debit card they can have to transact their business. This can help everybody in the world. There's 6 billion people that need us. We just have to get started with 2.
Yep, well said, Mike, and congrats on all you've done. You've certainly been an impetus for me to look at this, consistently look at it, and now move on it. So thank you, Mike, and I know you're destined for great success. He's created something here with his crowdfunding project. Now, he couldn't stop it if he wanted to. I mean, he's got a runaway train, and I say that in a good way. So congrats, Mike, and you've helped a lot of people. That's what it boils down to. So let's talk about what we've got here. We'll start to go through this PowerPoint. I'll cover it rather quickly. Your modern-day dinosaur, Polaroid cameras. Yeah, look at that. I mean, an instant camera. That thing's gone the way of the whippoorwill. Yet, I mean, look at how fast technology advances is what it boils down to. There's no question that everything is different now. The smartphone, everyone's got a phone. Mike just talked about how everyone has cellular phones around the world, and most people are unbankable. Think about the population of the world in which we live. Most people are unbankable, yet they can still benefit from what we've got here with WeShare crowdfunding. So think internationally. Think internationally. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, if you want to build an international organization in anything, start in your own neighborhood. Start and focus in your own neighborhood. Help those people around you and show them how to help other people, and you will indeed, over time, have an international organization. That's what you have here, the distinct possibility to do that with WeShare crowdfunding. So world's changing, big new trends are on the rise. The trend is your friend, the internet, Facebook, mobile phone economy, and now crowdfunding. So let's talk about that. What is crowdfunding? I want to just talk about one thing. Think about when you first got your mobile phone. You generally know what year it was, and when it was. For me, it was 1986. That marks time for me when that's when the cell phone industry first hit. I had just graduated from college, and that was my first job. I got a job selling cell phones, and they gave me a cell phone, obviously, because I was a rep for a company. But that marks time, and there are certain events that mark time. What I'm saying is I believe, and write this down, put it in your notes if you want to, I believe that you will look back in 5, 10, 20 years from now and say, crowdfunding, that's when it became in vogue, if you will, was 2014, 2015. That's where we are. I remember when I was in 6th grade and I got a skateboard. I lived in Chicago, and that's where I grew up, suburb of Chicago. My friend Jimmy Menz got back from California. He brought a skateboard back with him. I'd never seen one before. I said, where did you get that thing? Wow, that thing's incredible, a skateboard. Oh, and I told my mother, I want a skateboard for Christmas, and begged her, and she did whatever she had to do. They didn't sell them in the stores in Chicago, but somehow I got a skateboard for Christmas. And my brother and I, we rode with the back of a Stingray bike with a rope hanging off of it. One person pulled the other guy to school, and the other guy pulled the other guy back. We were the first kids at the school to have a skateboard and riding. So anyways, that's a time marker. And you'll be able to mark time. You will be able to mark time relative to crowd sharing. I know it. I know that. So what is crowdfunding? It's the practice of funding a project or venture. Fred, you're going too fast. Go back. Raising monetary contributions. You guys have all read that while I've been talking. Do read up on Wikipedia. I spent some time, went to Google this afternoon when I had just a minute and read a bit about crowdfunding and the fact that our commander-in-chief passed a bill regarding crowdfunding. It is the next big trend, and remember, the trend is your friend. So go ahead to the next one. Thanks, Fred. Learn about crowdfunding, you guys. There's a ton of information. The new economy. What have we got here? Crowdfunding is here to stay. That's what it boils down to. It is here to stay. $96 billion a year by 2025 in crowdfunding. I don't know if we call it an investment or not. Why would say donations? We should change that, Fred, because this is not an investment, you guys. You're making a donation. You're making and receiving donations. Go ahead, Fred. Thanks. You don't need to change it now, Fred. This guy is so good, you guys. That's what it boils. We have a team here. I mean, you just heard Mike speak. You got Fred Henderson, the things that he does for everything. We're putting this PowerPoint together. Bottom line, we're going to crank this thing up. We've done it before. I mean, when we've set our minds to projects and you focus on something, it grows. That bodes well for every single person on the line here, because what are we doing? We're out soliciting donations. That's really what it boils down to. Judy, I will solicit on your behalf to anyone. Say, hey, support Judy Trenka, support her project, as well as any other person on this line. I have no qualms about telling anyone to support your project, provided obviously it's a good project, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's AARP, October, just recently, right now, talking about using crowd. It's becoming ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. I learned that. I paid $600 to learn that word. I learned it in marketing in college, Fred. Paid $660 for that course. I think that's the one word that I learned, ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Go ahead, Fred. Do you have a passion? You got to have passion. You have to have a dream. This all starts with a dream. If you don't have a dream, you're wasting your time here. So really what it boils down to, you're going to need to get this in your head. You need to get this in your head about this crowdfunding. Okay, what crowdfunding? I had lunch with a friend of mine, flew in today from Nebraska, called me, said, hey, I'm here in town, one of my best friends. I went and dropped everything and had lunch with him real quick with another friend of his who he and I have become friends, and he'll be at our meeting Wednesday at Mozambique in Laguna, Mike. But the guy's like, he's like, I want to know what you're doing. By all means, I don't know what crowdfunding is, but if you like it, I like it. I'm totally open. I am totally open for learning about a potentially, a potential endeavor that could benefit a lot of people. So this has been making the dreams of people come true. There's no question about that, and it's here to stay. There's no question about that. Let's go on to the next one, Fred. I mean, there's no question that it's here to stay, and you just got to move it from your head to your heart. And I'm telling you right now, don't do anything until you get this in your heart. And the way that you get this in your heart is by putting your project together, and helping a couple of other people put their project together. Then you'll really start to get the essence of where we are and what we're doing here, which is namely helping other people to improve their situation. Every hour, 87,000. I wonder what that will be here in the next couple of years. Let's go. You look at all the dots here. Crowdfunding it's an international situation. Facts about crowdfunding, you guys can all read this. 4,460. There's only one WeShare, that's for sure. These guys, they charge a fee for their contributions, and you're on your own with all the rest of these. Here we've got leverage components, plural leverage components to this model that really give it the absolute advantage over anything else, certainly any crowdfunding that I've ever seen. I mean, it's totally cool. Plus, we're not getting, no one's getting nicked here. Getting nicked 4 or 5 or 9% on your whatever donations come in that the entity that you're attached to here, they're taking that right off the top. So it's very, very clean. Let's go to the next one. Shared platform, whatever your project, you need the best. Yeah, you do need the best. And we do have the best platform. There's no question about it because it's so powerful. It's way beyond a 1-to-1 ratio. We just talked about that. There are no fees. And it's a shared platform. And you'll start to understand that. What you really want to do now, everything's crawl, walk, run. Crawl, walk, run. Mentally get this in your head. Start to move it from your head to your heart. It all revolves around your project and then helping other people to think of a project that they could, put out that would benefit they and others. That's what I did with this man at lunch. I said, what's your dream? Do you have something special you'd like to do for other people to help them? Do you have a project? He got it. Everyone has a project. We just need to wake up that, we need to yeah, we need to wake people up to what are your dreams? Dust them off. You can do it here. This is so much better than any network marketing concept where you got monthly fees and this and that and this and that. It's super, super clean. What can you use crowdfunding? It's endless. I mean, look at the examples here. Ministries, college, home. You need tires for your car. You need groceries next week. Whatever it may be. Young, old, and in between. Everyone can do this. Starting or expanding a business, disaster, certainly that fits in disaster relief. Homeless, all the possibilities are endless here, and you can change your project anytime you like. Good stuff. Go ahead, Fred. Students, I mean, look at Fred wrote a tremendous expose, his project, which is what? It's Freddie Mac. Go to goldcrowdfunding.com/Freddie Mac, FRDDIEMAC. He talks about his two daughters and it lays it out, which is his project, helping his daughters get their school paid for. One of them's she's got it tight because read his project. Go read Freddie Mac. And what I do when I send out email to people, I'm now including 4 or 5 or 6 different projects that people can read. They can read mine. They can read several others too. It's cool. It's good stuff that we're doing here, you guys. Pay their bills, make them. Yeah, some people are really doing very well with crowd sharing. Okay. I mean, young people. Let's go ahead, Fred. Crowdfunding your dreams. That's what it boils down to. You got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you'll have no hope, and you have to have hope. Otherwise, life's not worth living. Go ahead, Fred. This will all come together for you guys. It's just a super clean operation. It's clean, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. That's the most important thing. In very short order, if you embrace this and take it to your heart for the 5th time now, you can do very well with this concept. What is your why? That's what it boils down to. You have to have some sort of a why. Law of giving and receiving. That's what it boils down to. Law of sowing and reaping. What have we got next, Fred? Shared. Okay, here are different projects. Here, that's an iconic photo. That woman. That was actually the double that picture came from. But look at the look on her face. Look at her 2 little kids. That's a real photo. There's Save the Horses. Someone wants to save the horses. That's cool. My bionic leg. Now that should be plural because he's got 2 legs that look like they're bionic. And then you got Waterville Farms, which is I think that's some sort of
organic.
Organic. That's the word. You guys, thank you. I was doing the pantomime and you guys got it. Thank you. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So our shared, what do we got? It marries traditional crowdfunding with our revolutionary shared contribution distribution formula. That's a mouthful, but it really does. There's a component here too, We Share, that puts us head and shoulders above any other crowdfunding opportunity that's out there because of the leverage component. We believe our gold, there's no question it'll be the gold standard. Quickly rise to number 1. There's no doubt in my mind about that because number 1, it's legitimate. Number 2, it's very unique, this donation model with the leverage component. It's off the charts. And once it starts to go, once you put forth effort, once you put forth effort to get your project posted and then get a little bit of information out about your project, Fred will help with your project, Mike will help with your project, I'll help you with your project. Give you ideas, help you get it so it looks good. Put a picture up there. Put your picture up there. It doesn't have to be long. It's 1 page, a couple paragraphs about whatever your project may be. You can change it whenever you want, okay, or modify it. And then it's just a matter of getting the word out there, which is easy to do. You're not going to beg anyone here, but I assure you, if you have the chutzpah to move forward here and to do this, you will get people that donate to your project. At the same time, like, wow, I've got a project too. Everyone understands the law of sowing and reaping, and the most successful people that you see in society are people that consistently apply that principle of wealth. Okay, crowd sharing shared platform is done by it's all software automated. It's simple, it's clean, super clean. Start your project, you receive contributions. Yes, the first, you can receive contributions without even making a contribution. I recommend you make a contribution, but you can start your project you can get aligned here for free, you can load your project in for free, and you can start to spread the word and start receiving contributions for your project without contributing anyone else's project. That's pretty cool. It's not what I recommend, but it can be done. Floor 1, It's the same as all crowdfunding platforms, no fees, very clean. You got support from people throughout the community. People have a tremendous interest in helping you to succeed here. For those of you who want, there are 7 floors in this. There's floor number 1, and obviously 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just focus on floor number 1 and get in a little bit number 2. Number 1's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's, spreading the word, getting donations, which is easy to do. Believe me, it's very easy to do. Think about other people, not your project, but what you can do for other people, and you will get people this resonates with them. It's easy. It's fun. Take it to your heart. Participating in a give and then receive system, there's no question about that. Here's a disclaimer. I want to go back to the disclaimer. You guys can all read, but we should really cover this. Make every effort to ensure that we accurately represent crowdfunding, not a business opportunity. We make no claims, guarantees, donations that your project will receive. It all depends on the emotional appeal of your crowdfunding project and your work ethic. The examples on the next page are for illustration purposes. Potential donations received will vary and are based upon your individual capacity, business experience, and level of desire. Once again, we'll talk about that. There are no guarantees concerning the level of success you may experience with your project. The testimonials, if any, and examples are used could be exceptional results, do not apply to the average person looking to raise funds, and are not intended to represent or guarantee that anyone will achieve the same or similar results. Each individual's success depends on his or her background, education, dedication, desire, and motivation. No guarantees your project will receive these levels of donations, and you accept the risk that these differ by the individual and their projects. There's no risk here. But anyways, there is no assurance that examples of past donations will be duplicated in the future. Can't guarantee your future results, okay, or success. There are some unknown risks in these concepts on the internet we cannot foresee, which can reduce results. We are not responsible for your actions. No, we're not. The use of our information service should be based upon your own due diligence. You agree that our company is not liable for any success or failure of your project that is directly and indirectly related to the donation you make in the various projects within our platform. So, we're going to adhere to that disclaimer. So what do? We make a one-time contribution. It can be $10, $50, $100, $200, or higher. You have no monthly fees, no yearly fees, no garbage. Clean and simple. You don't even have to make that one-time contribution. You can still receive contributions, but obviously that's what's recommended. I recommend you do the $200 contribution. That covers level number 1, steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's what I recommend. If you can't do that, then do the $50. Or do the $10 with this $40 accelerator. It's either $50 or $200. Everyone can afford that. It just doesn't wash for me, for any person. My friend Handy Randy, he's homeless. He lives under sewer cap 13 here. Where I live, he can come up with 50. Anyone can come up with $50 if they have to. So that doesn't wash, okay? You guys know that. Let's look at our unique share plan. What's my risk? The risk is to do nothing. That's the risk here. The upside is to embrace this and see what it can do for you. Look what it's done for Mike Hanley. Incredible. I mean, my jaw dropped when I saw the donations. You see why? Because he had the guts to get busy. He had the guts to put his project together, the conviction behind what he put together with his project, and the wherewithal to go out and start spreading the word to other people that were open-minded, myself included. So if you donate, okay, your project, you're not receiving any contributions to your project, you help your friend out. Yeah, that's true. That's for sure. It'll come back. It'll come back to you tenfold. We all know that. Come back to you 100-fold. Believe me, you can't. We're all so tight with the buck. Give it away and it'll come back. You guys all know that. Sow and reap. Find one person to donate your project same as you. Okay, then you're balanced. Yeah, you gave a donation. Someone gives a donation to your project. You're even Steven. Find 2 people. And then you're crowdfunding. And this is what it's crowdfunding. It's fun when it's a crowd. This is no fun when it's one-to-one. You just starting out saying, I got to go solicit this or go get the word. Yeah, just dial in as a crowd. We will put the crowd together here. I know that we will. And then Fred just highlighted, it's fun. It is fun. Let's go to the next one, Fred. Okay, following example based upon each person bringing 2 people, this $200 contribution, that would be step number 1, 2, and 3 for level number 1. Step number 1, 2, and 3 for level number 1, and step up as next as possible. You'll be pretty fast on that. Our crowd shared platform. Donations come in, they go into your electronic wallet. Very clean, very simple. You have full access to these funds. They have to sit in there for 7 days. Then you've got full access to those funds. And when you desire to donate to the next level, which would be level number 2, then level number 3, it's not a hard expense. It's designed to come from the donations that you received. You'll have money in your electronic wallet to do it. That means you don't have to use your credit card. You guys understand that your project starts to be self-perpetuating at the higher donation levels, which is exactly where Mike is and many other people already here with We Share crowdfunding. One particular gentleman started a few months ago, and he's got after it. And another guy, I didn't get it, but he did. Sharp guy. I said, how many people, what's your donation base? He says, oh, it's about 3,000 people now. 3,000 people. He could disappear into the woodwork and still have donations coming in, just piling in, because of the leverage component of what We Share has put together, which has never, ever been seen before in the crowdfunding arena. Next, Fred. Okay, here we go. Don't get too boggled on this mentally. Just look at the bottom, floor number 1. Floor number 1, you've got step number 1, which is $10, step number 2, which is $50, step number 3, which is $100. Plus there's this thing called the $40 accelerator. So we go 10 plus 40 plus 50, that's 100, plus 100, step 3, that's 100. That's $200, okay? You are eligible. Once you put your project together and posted it on your We Share website, you are eligible to receive donations. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3 donations, people can give you $200 or $50 or $10. You are eligible to receive those donations. If you want to receive donations from the higher level, which would be level number 2 or floor number 2 as it's called here, floor number 3, you must indeed make a donation for step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3 for floor number 2. So it's progressive. If you want to receive more donations in a leverage format, you must first make a donation for all 3 of those steps for each floor. It's simple. And this is designed to come from the donations, the surplus that has been created from your donations, so it's not a hard expense each and every floor. And believe me, you start to get up, you get beyond level number 3, 4, 5, your life, things are going to start to get really, really good, because your project is going to have donations coming in to help make that project flourish. And your project could be whatever you want. It could be, as I talked about, gas and grocery money for you. It could be something for your church, some sort of benevolent thing that you want to do. Whatever it may be, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, you can list that as your project. So pick something that's near and dear to you. Okay, it's simple. I mean, everything you receive in floor number 1, all donations, they're 100% direct to you. On floor number 2, 3, and 4, there's a split. You're splitting it between yourself and the person that introduced you and the person ultimately that introduced them. It's a leverage component, you guys. I'm not going to get into on this call, but there are 2 forms of leverage here. You can see one of them, which is floor number 2, 3, 4. That's a leverage component. And then you've got a leverage component within that component, which moves these numbers out exponentially, and I mean exponentially, way beyond what is shown here. This would be just if you introduce 2 people, and they introduce 2 people who introduce 2 people who introduce 2 people. Think of all the people out there in the world. There are billions of people that can benefit from We Share crowdfunding. So let's go to the next one, Fred. You guys will learn this. You'll pick it up. Believe me. Just you got a little donation that you're going to make. Very easy. If you get your donation back, just get this in your heart and spread the word on it. You'll get your donation. I guarantee you'll have donations coming in if you embrace this concept and plug in with us. Let's go to the next slide, Fred. And you'll start to pick up all this stuff. You're like, oh, I'm ready to go to floor number 2, floor number 3. Next, please, Fred. You'll pick up all this, you guys. Next. Okay, get 2 to donate each. You can see what can happen here. Just a little, 2 people. They did the step number 1, 2, and 3, and floor number 1, you got $400, then you got $640. The numbers add up very, very, very quickly. And 2, that's nothing to do 2 people. Everyone starts can make all the difference. You invite 2 people, show it 2 people. You can see that 3 levels. That's 14 people. Little tiny donation base that you've got there. It's a $50 contribution that everyone made, their donation. You've received over $600 for your project. If everyone started with the $200 contribution, you'd be at over $1,000, for your project. If people did the $1,160, you'd be at over $4,200, and that's just a start. Once it starts to go, The numbers start to work for you exponentially. So crowdfunding can happen in days. Yes, it can. It can create happy days too. Start today. Get registered on your refers link and determine what your project's going to be. That's the most important thing of all, is to get your project, get it set up, get it put together. Share and refer a handful of people to your project page. We will assist you with that. I will help any person on this line, because this is no fun when you're starting out. Nothing's any fun, especially if you feel like you have to solicit people. You don't. But I will assist any person on this line to help convey what we've got here with WeShare. Use me as a resource. I know that Fred will, as will Mike. And then it starts to get fun when you've got some donations coming in. It'll really energize you. Guide them make a one-time contribution out of pocket. Most people, $50 less than it is less than a tank of gas. Every day, help people, new people, refer people to their project page. This will grow for you if you do that. Consistent effort, consistent results. Repeat this simple process until you've reached your goal. Determine what your goal is. And once again, it all revolves around your project. So here's an idea for a project right here. Somebody's project, Healthier Food for All. That's a good one. Chemical-free, products. That's good. Yeah, mine is the BBB for what it's worth. Mine's the Better Business Bounce Back. The BBB, that's what I named my project. It talks about a beating that I took on a particular business venture that I rolled on earlier this year that just didn't work out. And I did all the due diligence that I could, the conveyances, the reliance that were made to me. They just weren't so. That's what it boils down to. And that's just, that's my project. And people on the line say, that may be a self-serving project. Yes, it may be a self-serving project, but I consider to be a person, when I prosper, every single person around me prospers, because I understand the law of sowing and reaping, and so that's why I've listed my own personal project. I hope that makes sense for you. You can do the same thing. I mean, I got a man, Efren, I don't know if he's on this line or not, but he came over the other day and for some other stuff, and what's your causa sui? What's going on in your life? What is it that you'd love to see happen? He started talking about his son. His son's got schizophrenia, and told the story about his son and the situation he's in at the age of 36 now. Now go to Darcy's son, Darcyson. You'll see Efren's project. You want to see Fifi's project? She's putting her son through culinary school, $44,000 a year, and she's done everything in her power to come up with the tuition each and every year, every semester, every time she gets a bill from that school. That's her project. Help her son. Go to, what's her name? It's First Choice. Go to Fred's project, Freddie Mac. Go to Mike Hanley, who's on this line. Go to his project, which is Michelangelo. Go to Fifi's friend, Christine. Go to CICI Choice. Talks about, that's one that I wrote for her. And we spent some time, a couple minutes. She was at Fifi's house, and hey, how are you doing down? My parents are really struggling. I'm struggling, and I can't help my parents out financially. We just started talking. I said, well, this will help you. Pay attention as to what's going on. She did, and so let's write up your project. Wrote it up. Go look at, as I said, CICI Choice, CHOICE. So that should start. Dar's, here's another one, Chef Dar, CHEFDAR. Get your project put together. That's the most important thing. So with that, I hope it wasn't too long in the tooth. Most of you are on the computer listening here, but I'm into this. That's what it boils down to, and I'm in it to win it. And I'm very certain that we're going to put big numbers on the board here. We can create a donation base for you too, any listener on this line. Take heart. Take heart. Magnificent things can still happen here in the year 2014 for you. Please, for your sake, embrace this. Embrace this. Get your project. Let's put it together, and we'll help you start to market this. The letters that I put out, anything that I've written to spread the word, you can use that. Take my name, put your name on it. We'll work with you, any person on this line. All right, any questions or comments or statements, Mike or Fred or anyone else that's on the telephone line here rather than
you are now muted.
Questions, whatever it may be.
I unmuted the line. So.
Okay, any comments, Fred? Statements, anything?
No.
Fred?
I'm just the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, you're way more than that. Share your story real quick, because you looked at this a couple months ago, took a pass, and did another crowdfunding project successfully with your daughter. Tell that story real quick if you could.
Well, basically, Tom showed me this about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and it did not trip my trigger, if you want to say that. It was just, I just didn't have the gut feeling that that was what we wanted. My daughter's teaching in a Title I school, which is 100% free and reduced lunch. That shows you the poverty level of the area. and they had to close the high school, so their school is a K-8 building, and it has no library. The reason it has no library is because they cannot afford to fund a librarian. So Katie, being heavy into the reading teaching portion of it, she said, Dad, what can I do to start a library? I need to get these kids some up-to-date books. I saw the books that she had. They were 30, 40 years old, dog-eared, ragged, not of interest to the kids, just pretty ratty. So I said, well, why don't we do a crowdfunding? She goes, what's that? I said, well, crowdfunding is where you just ask people for donations to help your cause. You make a cause, and you ask people for donations. So what we did is we started it with another company called GoFundMe, and they take a pretty hefty portion of her earnings, and so, but then you had to market it totally yourself. So I have a lot of Facebook friends, and I have a lot of LinkedIn friends, and I have a pretty good email list. So I sent it out, and she ended up collecting about $1,500 in donations for her library. Now it's kind of stalled because the marketing stopped. But with this, the way we share now is it will be self-perpetuating after like the second, third level. It'll just keep growing and growing. And so she could, with hers, she could probably fund a whole library or purchase the librarian's yearly salary if she wanted to. So this is just a nice way. We also have, and Mike, you may want to jump in on this, talk about Chuck Thomas, and also about Bill Rasmussen, the ESPN owner-founder.
Sure.
There's a question on here. Could we get a copy of Project Letter from Tom? I don't know what he means by a copy of the project.
Is that Wayne? Did he write that?
Yes.
Hey, Wayne. Howdy. Tom Moore. Yeah, just
And
go to goldcrowdfunding.com/more success, M-O-R-E success. You'll see my my project, and then you can go to the other ones I talked about, First Choice and Darcy's Son, CC Choice. Well, I'll give you. You email me. We'll put a whole library together here of different projects, you guys.
I'll show you, Wayne. I'll send it to you.
Else. Yeah. Okay.
And Wayne also wrote, how does the money get to the project?
Mike, you want to answer that? Oh,
Sure.
Your money comes out of your e-wallet, then you're going to divert it to the project. But go ahead, Mike. You want to touch on that?
The first part of it is from either a debit or credit card, where you start for the $50. It comes to $52.50 with the fee to the credit card processor, and that should be all you need out of your pocket. From there on, it's in an e-wallet, and you can take the money, the funds that are coming to your e-wallet, and use it to fund the steps or take the money out. Just remember, if you take it out in the early stages, it may have to go back in because you may not have enough money as people are advancing behind you. Just remember this. If somebody passes you by on the stairway, then what happens is you lose that particular donation. You get a canceled check in your email that says coulda, woulda, shoulda. And so you want to make sure you stay in the game and working towards something. We recommend that for the first 3 floors, you might consider putting all of your donations in if you're coming in at $50, and then after that, do half of it. Take half out and put half in, and that should sustain you all the way to the top. So that's how it works. Typically, it's just $50 to get started, and you're on your way.
Yeah, the website is down now.
Ultimately, you're going to take the money out of your e-wallet and apply it directly towards your project. If it was a water well in Africa, you take the money out of your e-wallet and send it to that water well entity in Africa or whatever it may be.
Exactly.
Currently, the site's down because they're moving out of the grace period and giving everybody their money, so we can't get to the projects. I just tried.
Oh, okay. All right. Any other questions or comments, you guys?
Either put them
okay,
in
Mike,
the chat.
you want to wrap it up?
Well, yeah. First of all, folks, this is our second call. Tom, I really want to thank you for really doing this. You're an inspiration, and you're a role model to follow and to help, and you're a great teacher. So, Fred, likewise, and like you behind the screen, well, you're the Wizard of Oz to me. I really appreciate that, folks. In terms of wrapping this up, all I say is, if you have a heart, get in now. Trust your heart, because it'll take you where you need to go. If you don't have a heart, probably not for you, because this is about taking from what you've learned and helping share with another person or people how to do this. And that's when everything we do has meaning. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of the parable of loaves and fishes. I'm not that smart, but the loaves and fishes, I thought that, Jesus just took snapped his fingers and had, all these loaves and fishes. All it was they brought the crowd together. They got everyone to work together. Is what it boiled down to. What do you have in your basket? What do you have in your basket? They got everyone to work together, everyone to communicate, and when they spread everything around, there was plenty for everyone with obviously, fish and bread left over. That's where we are here, you guys. That's all it boils down to. Everyone's a spoke in the wheel. Everyone's a spoke in the wheel. Every spoke in the wheel makes that wheel stronger too. So we look forward for the people that this feels right for you. If this resonates with you, dial it up and let's make it happen. So Fred, thank you so very much for all you do to make this happen. Mike, appreciate your contribution. Wayne, look forward to running with you. Judy, I am just thrilled you're part of the team. And everyone else, thanks for listening. Our next call will be Monday at 5:30, but I'm really considering doing 2 calls a day now to get this thing really, really smoking, which would be 2 o'clock Eastern. We'll discuss that. But if you guys are open for that, you think it would make sense because it's time to really, really make things happen. Okay? All right.
Great, Tom.
Okay. Bye, guys. We'll talk.